A few months ago, one of my TikTok mutuals made a video about patriarchy and using the example or metaphor of men basically making a mess, understanding that there are issues in this society, but having zero clue of how to fix it. There's a mess right there. The mess is there, and instead of fixing the mess, they sit there and describe the mess. This was this was the overarching theme of her video. Well, I wake up to a comment on it and I would like to share it with you. This is what Freddie Mac has to say. I hate to say this. He probably does not hate to say this. I hate to say this, but I think this video might be the female equivalent to the toxic alpha male mindset. Sad to see such a lack of nuance portrayed in an opinion that will no doubt be represented as the feminist standard by the right. I would also like to mention that ultimately the mindset that women don't want to sleep with me and that is not fair is passed down by patriarchy to men. Men are told through a vast majority of media that performing masculinity in a way that conforms with patriarchy's ideal will result in them attracting women, which we know isn't the truth. But this is a lie they have been fed, myself included, all our lives. The reality of things is, while discussions of socioeconomic and political issues surrounding the impact women face from patriarchy is being expanded upon as I write this, the same cannot be said for men. Even if patriarchy gives them the role of leaders, one point I want to drive across is someone as sensible as me would never take pleasure in dominating. I appreciate that. Okay, so he would never take pleasure in dominating anyone. No. And being a dominator hurts on an emotional level, and it's only that men cannot stop since it would require them to acknowledge that all of this time they have been working towards mistaken goals and their world threatens to fall to pieces. I can tell because it's happening to me right now. I don't hope the replies to this will contain anything other than arguing women have it worse than men and men need to fix their own issues. And you know, that is the problem because the latter part, which is basically telling men to man up, which is in line with what patriarchy has been doing all this time and what has been hurting men to begin with. Seriously sad to see this put out there as a representation of feminist views. Shame. This is so problematic in so many different ways. This is what they do. They can see all of the problems, but somehow they circle back around. From top to bottom, he encapsulated in a sandwich that this is something that feminists need to tackle. The fact that he attempts to equivocate this to the toxic alpha male is ridiculous because the toxic alpha male simply wants women to submit to their will. Women are actively saying, y'all need to fix this. We didn't do this. He also takes the time to point out all of the things that patriarchy has told men. So he understands that patriarchy is not serving men, that the fairy tale that they have been fed is BS. But instead of holding the issues with the men that are in charge, he decides to do what they continue to do, to heap it onto the backs and shoulders of women. He says that he knows that they have been fed a lie, but what are women supposed to do about that? We have been boxed into the patriarchy, into certain mindsets, but instead of whining, acting like, somebody else has to do it, we have picked ourselves up and decided to do something for ourselves, other women, and creating opportunities for girls. The part where he says it's only that men cannot stop since it would require them to acknowledge that all of this time they have been working towards mistaken goals and their world threatens to fall to pieces. This is patriarchy. This is what white supremacy is. This is all of that. Because if men and then the alabaster people would take the time to acknowledge all of the things that they have gotten wrong and all of the benefits that they have gotten because of ill-gotten gains, then that would crush their whole view. That is the reason why they cannot work through their issues and the reason why they keep heaping it on us. But I refuse to pick it up. They're going to have to look at it and clean it up themselves. Jump in the comments, like, comment, share.